Hello, must do 006 Quebec for part 9 of Pokemon AshGray. Last time I said that I was going to be checking out the underground path route 5 to 6 and seeing where that takes us, or takes me. But yeah, I'm actually having had a change of heart. So what I'm actually going to do is this is going to be a very just talk-heavy episode. So I do wonder what on earth this tree is for. Yeah, Charmander wasn't on the thing, it was on the rock. Yeah, I do wonder what on earth that's for. But yeah, what I'm actually going to do is, because I feel like I'm going to level up, in particular, Bulbasaur, Squirtle and Charmander up quite a bit. So I'm actually going to sort of spend a bit of time kind of grinding away, getting them leveled up. And actually what I'm going to do is, so I've gone back to this, I'm going to take the item from Pidgeotto, which was a lucky egg, and I'm going to give it to, well, let's give it to Charmander first of all, since he's got the other two have actually got items at the moment, but just obviously to get them up, get the experience a bit quicker. Yeah, I figured I'm going to come back to this point in time where I think it's sort of the point where the grass is going to, or the Pokemon I'm going to meet are going to be sort of the weakest, because ultimately at the moment they're not that high level. So yeah, all great, and put Pikachu out, fantastic. Well, let's just take care of that first off and not actually take some damage with Charmander. Let's remember to switch the Pokemon so that Charmander's actually out in front. That would be a big help. But yeah, I'm going to just take this opportunity to try and yeah, level up Bulbasaur, Charmander and Squirtle up a bit more, just so that I feel like I could actually use them a bit more when coming through. I feel like Pikachu and Pidgeotto obviously are quite nice levels at the moment, but yeah, the other three at the moment are just sort of a bit weak, obviously, so I feel like I'm going to need them. Charmander less so, and I guess we'll probably come on to all that, going into Charmander. Well, not Charmander's per se, but Charmeleon and Charizard's disobedience, and so forth. But yeah, I feel like I need to get. I feel like okay, this may not take as long as I thought it would actually. But okay, the way this is going to work, I do at some point want to start talking about my some of my sort of favourite. I'll go through like a review, if you will, of Ash's. Ash's travelling companions. Yeah, and it takes a lot of flipping damage. Yeah, through the anime. So I figure this is probably. The lucky egg's obviously going to help immensely here as well, isn't it? But yeah, I figure that I was going to do that at some point in time. So I'm not going to do this in like cover this in completely one video, because that's just going to be impossible. Don't use quick attack on me. Don't use quick attack on me. Use sod. So I'm now actually going to have to change Pokemon just so that I don't actually get knocked out. Wonderful. I'm going to have to go back and heal now. Yeah, at some point in time I want to. Yeah, these are quite weak, aren't they? Blimey. Yeah, start going through rating sort of Ash's travelling companions. So as I go and heal up, Bulbasaur much less though. Yeah, the lucky egg's going to be a big help there. So just a few kind of things before I do it. I'm telling you, like I said, I'm not going to do them all now. There's no chance I'm going to go through all the ones I want to, through just this part. So I'm going to split it and sort of do it in bits, absolutely for certain. Yeah, I'm actually going to let me just exit the Pokemon Center and head back to the grass. Come on, thank you. Don't know what happened with the text there. It seemed to not scroll very quickly. But yeah, I am going to do. That's the wrong way. So I'm going to do the 11 travelling companions that make up the first 5. Oh, the screen's gone. It must be a sort of day-night thing where it's actually literally the time I'm playing this. Wow, that's interesting. Just gone 6 o'clock, real time as I'm playing this, and it's just it's just gone from light to dark. Interesting. What on earth was I saying? Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to be doing it. So I'm paused here. So let me bring up the chart. So I'm going to be covering the 11 main travelling companions that Ash had through the first 5 sort of series. So through the original series, so Misty, Brock, Tracy, through the advanced series. So additionally Max and May, through Sinnoh, through Diamond and Pearl. So Dawn. Through Black and White, or Best Wishes, whatever, so Iris and Silent, and then through Kalos, or XY/XYZ, with Bonnie, Clement and Serena. So I am not covering Sun and Moon companions here. I've not watched, bar one episode of that anime, I've not watched it yet. I feel like without having done or like, you know, even the series not that kind of not being only partially done, or you know, nowhere near its conclusion as well, but it's probably a bit unfair to sort of do those ones. I'm obviously aware of the characters. You've got Mallow, Lana, Lily. Yeah, so I'm aware of the sort of the Sun and Moon, and then less so travelling companions as well, because they're all just kind of stuck in school. But yeah, I'm aware of those characters. Sophocles is another one. I feel like there's one more I wanted to get out, but yeah, just completely slipped my mind at the moment. Yeah, I'm also not going to cover what I dub temporary travelling companions as well. So, for example, just going to cover examples. I'm not going to cover any, like Todd Snap, for instance, who was with Ash, Misty, and Brock in Kanto for about 3 episodes, and then again actually in Johto for another 3 episodes. I'm also not going to include Lyra and Corey from the Diamond and Pearl series. They end up travelling with Ash, Dawn and Brock for about 5 episodes, I think it was. So yeah, I am purely focusing on just the main 11 travelling companions. I'm also going to say at this point in time that, yeah, of the 11, there's only one I would say that I actually don't like at all. There's one who I'm fairly indifferent toward, but the other 9, yeah, I kind of like them all. So, yeah, not expecting this to be sort of like a rant on some of the characters or something like that. There's only, yeah, I think there's probably only 2 that I would say, and one of them I don't like, one of them I'm indifferent to, but the other 9, I'm like, yeah, I have no problem with these characters. They're all, I mean, I like them to varying degrees, of course, but yeah, I have no real problem with any of them. So, well, yeah, or not certainly not as much as the last 2. So, yeah. Going to spend a bit of time grinding away here, so yeah, as I do that, might as well reveal who is bottom of the pile. So, coming in at number 11 is Max. So, why Max at the bottom? Well, bottom line, he's just incredibly annoying. I feel like child characters, and I use the word child loosely there because I obviously clearly appreciate that, you know, seriously? Don't you dare. Wow. I'm going to have to try not to react to the crap that goes on and just concentrate purely on getting out what I want to say, but gee whiz, seriously? I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen as well. Right, anyway, yeah, so I'll have to... level 6. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have to get good at... just not reacting to what happens in the game. But, yeah, anyway. Max, I just find generally annoying. As I was saying, with child characters, and I use the term child loosely there because I clearly appreciate that, you know, Ash, throughout the 19 seasons or whatever, is still 10. So it's not like, you know, Ash is an adult or anything like that. It's not like the majority, if not almost all of his travelling companions are not, you know, children. You know, characters perhaps like Brock and Silent and probably Clement as well to lesser extents. You know, they're probably a bit older, but. Yeah, from a point of view of you know, the very young ones that you can obviously appreciate. I mean, Bonnie's in the same boat as well as being the kind of the child, and clearly sort of, although the rest of them are still, you know, children, the younger children. So yeah, while Bonnie's also in that kind of position, Max definitely is. And the problem I think with those kind of characters is when they're done well, they can be done. They tend to be really good. I don't know, I should try give a couple of examples from other series and such like that. Okay, off the top of my head, Clementine from the Walking Dead games. And Pearl Fay from the Ace Attorney series. Let's just throw those two out as just standout examples, at least off the top of my head, for being child characters who are done really, really well. The thing about child characters, when they're not done so well, they tend to be pretty terrible. Unfortunately, I think Max firmly falls into that category. The fact that he sort of comes across as just this huge know-it-all, when bottom line, he's nowhere near as like hot as he thinks he is, and all that kind of thing. I mean, just when we meet him, first off, so when we very first meet him, he's like he trolls Ash completely. Starts spouting off that he's the gym leader, but of course it's his dad who is. And just kind of like belittles Ash for no reason really. Like he saw him in the competing in the end of year league, which would have been obviously in Johto, so the Johto League. Performed pretty well. Obviously didn't win the thing, but did pretty well. But just starts ripping into him, basically telling him I don't know, really, just to kind of not sort of like appreciating the achievement, or just belittling what he did, or saying he didn't do very well and that kind of thing. So and professing that he would have done things a whole lot differently, like he's ever been in a Pokemon battle, and he feels like just because he knows he feels like he knows the theory behind Pokemon and battling and all that kind of thing, that he'd be an avid, a brilliant battler and just wouldn't have any problems like that. But yeah, the arrogance of the little kid, when he's really got absolutely no right to be that arrogant or such a know-it-all, is just incredibly annoying. We later see later in the episode when May turns up and obviously reveals that Max is her younger brother. That he then, once she brings out her Pokemon that she chose, which was Torchic, not Mudkip or Trico. She chose Torchic. He immediately sort of whines and says, "What did you choose that for? I'd have chosen." I think it's Trico. He said he would have chosen, but he's like, "Oh, that's the last Pokemon I'd have chosen. Why'd you pick Trico?" Just being a complete dick, really. I must say, I do absolutely love not only Torchic's reaction to that, which is basically to start pecking at him, but Ash's and Pikachu's, or Ash in particular, his reaction is just hilarious. He's got the biggest smirk on his face as Torchic is literally pecking Max's face off. It's not literally, obviously, but it's hilarious. I love Ash's little petty reaction there, where he's just sort of enjoying Torchic beating the crap out of Max. That's fantastic. But just generally, he's not like a brilliant little brother to May either. I mean, he has his moments. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like that he's Max is irredeemable or such like that. I say I don't particularly like him, but he's not absolutely terrible. He certainly has his moments, but I don't think he's like an especially good little brother to May. He just comes across as a complete know-it-all, like he knows an awful lot more than May. He may have the theory. But again, just the way he does it, the way he talks down to May, who's in some ways taking the only reason Max has been able to go along on this journey with Ash, May, and Brock is that May had to make a promise to her mother, to their mother, to say, "Yeah, I'll look after him," and that kind of thing. So he should be incredibly grateful. He should be incredibly grateful he's been allowed to go. But he's constantly kind of just ripping on May again. All the time, just kind of not maybe belittling her, but just kind of not appreciating her, or picking holes in what she does, kind of thing. Even though May is obviously very new at the sort of the game itself, she's a new trainer. Admittedly, she said at the beginning that she didn't really sort of, especially. I'm going to go back and well, I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to go back and heal that, but. Yeah, May's sort of very new as well, so there's no real reason to be so harsh on her or anything like that. So yeah, she's just starting. She's just learning. She's out there learning and everything like that. So yeah, there's no reason to be quite such a prick to her. The one person who does seem to kind of not really take the task or anything like that is Brock. Although admittedly he is the one who keeps dragging Brock away from all the girls or the women. Who he's hitting on and everything like that, which I must say is probably one of Max's better sort of roles. I actually have no real problem with him doing that per se. Obviously, it's mainly for the benefit, obviously, of the girls or the women that Brock is unnecessarily hitting on. But there's a little part of me, I think, unlike, for instance, Misty or Krogunk, who perform those roles in other respective series, I do kind of feel like, well, who the hell is Max to do this? You know, he's just kind of like snot-nosed kid kind of thing. You know, Brock is like probably almost twice his age. I get obviously the running gag and the joke to it, but as much as I feel like Misty and Krogunk are just either funnier or they've got more right to do it, I don't know. I just feel like again Max is sort of like, well, yeah, who are you to be sort of basically treating Brock this way? But ultimately I don't hold that much against him too much. The set piece is kind of. As much as it doesn't drag out too much with this constant, dragging by the ear away. But yeah, I had no real problem with Max doing that per se. Yeah, there were just. I don't know. I'm not sure I can sort of give too many specific examples off the top of my head. As I say, I'm not like the Pokemon anime connoisseur or anything like that. It's just a general impression that I've kind of got. Through having watched the Advanced series, that he's way too confident for his own good. He's way too big for his britches. Is something going to happen here? Okay, I need to stop this. What button is it to stop it? Can I stop this? Can I stop this? Can I stop this? Right. I don't know what button that was. I'm going to have to press them all again. Press them all. I might actually give you the Everstone after this one as well, just to prevent that from happening. But yeah, okay. So yeah, while we're going to want Charmander to evolve at some point in time, nowhere near yet. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait a bit, wait quite a bit for Charmander to evolve. So yeah, I'm actually going to give him the Everstone after this, just so that I don't have to go through that every single time. But yeah, Max just kind of comes across as a total know-it-all, with only real theoretical experience per se, rather than anything practical. And yeah, when he does kind of have to kind of step up, sometimes he's alright, but usually he's just sort of like cowering, or he gets something completely wrong, or he just whenever there is like a emergency or something like that, and he sort of has to step up, he's kind of like just kind of freezes and doesn't really know, and finds out that actually doesn't really know what he's doing. So which is good in some ways, because he comes off as a cocky little git, but I don't know, it's just a not very endearing character trait whatsoever. As I say, let's end on some good notes. He's to say he's not completely irredeemable and all like that kind of thing. So I've taken the lucky egg off you, haven't I? That's the problem. I was going to give you the Everstone, but by doing that, I've actually taken the lucky egg off you. I didn't even give you the Everstone. That was just terrible. Okay, we're going to give you the lucky egg, and we'll have to just keep cancelling the evolutions then. Okay, it's a little bit annoying, but yeah, of course the lucky egg's going to make you evolve a lot quicker. Wow, I don't know what I was thinking there. Even having taken away the lucky egg, I didn't give you the Everstone. I don't know what I was thinking. I'll give one example. So the episode Do I Hear a Roots is actually a really good one. One of my ones of my episodes I really like. That one, he just has to step up and befriends a Roots that kind of is injured, and he has to kind of return it to its owner or its partners, I guess, Curlier and Gardevoir. But yeah, he actually has a really nice role that episode. Admittedly, much of my absolute love for that episode comes from the Team Rocket section where they're dressed up as those Pokemon, and James is trying to take Curlier from them. That scene is just one of the best ones I think of the entire anime. Yeah, so he has a big role in that episode where he basically sneaks away from, or goes away from the group to take care of Curlier on his own. It's a really kind of nice character development for Max. He actually is kind of useful there. If that doesn't take you out, I could get stuffed in. Give you a quick attack, I'm stuffed, aren't you? Bother. I might as well do Bulbasaur, I guess then. Yeah, so he has a really nice role in that episode where he takes care of Ralts. Admittedly, he does kind of feel like he's out of his depth. Yeah. Oh, for goodness sake, I'm going to go heal anyway, but seriously. Yeah, he sort of breaks down crying, I think Snowrun, so Snowrun kind of comes along for the ride as well and is actually really... Okay, let's hold down what I think is the right button, but I don't want to go too far here. Is this going to stop it? Please tell us it's going to stop it. Okay, so I know which button I need to hold down now to stop the evolution. That's fine. I have to keep pressing buttons like a maniac. Of course, I wasn't going to escape here, was I? And of course, it's another Rattata who potentially could use quick attack and potentially could knock me out. Lovely. Tell you what, I'll take a chance because the Ember would knock you out in one. So okay, thank you. Good. Anyway, yeah, Snowrun catches up to Max and Curlier, and they have a real kind of nice moment there. And he actually is very useful in that episode. He keeps his promise as well. He returns Curlier to Ralts to Curlier and God of War. I probably said that a whole bunch of times wrong there, where I was saying Curlier, I meant Ralts. Even though I think actually Ralts kind of wants to stay with him, but he sort of made a promise. But also says he'll go back and Curlier, not Curlier, Blair. Ralts would be like, thank you, Jenny, would be like his first Pokemon or such like that when he becomes a trainer. So it's a really nice kind of touching moment there. And actually, Max has a very nice role in that episode, and I do think it's a good episode for him. But on the whole, overall, he's way too big for his boots, way too cocky, way too much of a prick to Ash when he first meets him for no real reason whatsoever. He's way too harsh on May, given that she's basically a huge part of her role, or of why he's even on the journey in the first place, is that May has been charged with taking special care of Max. He seems very unappreciative of that fact, way too keen just to try and kind of pick on May as well, and just overall I just he's probably the one he's the one, probably the only character that I would say on balance that I actually don't like. Okay, I'm actually going to interject with a bit of post-commentary here. I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible since this video is going to go on for absolutely ages, somewhat probably approaching the hour mark or something like that. But I made such a big omission when I was doing this live and playing the game at the time about Max that I just had to put this in here as well. If it had been something a bit minor, I could have maybe put it in another video or even just wrote about it in the comments or such. But this was such a big omission. I can't believe I forgot this at the time. So I'm going to have to do that now. It's also made me realise that I'm pretty much going to have to, while I'm not scripting this out by any means, when I do these sort of review sort of ones of the travelling companions in the anime, I'm going to have to at least sort of put some bullet points down on a post-it note or something, just to make sure I don't forget anything as major as this again. But anyway, try and keep it as brief as possible. But another reason why Max is just annoying as all hell for me is the episode Balance of Power in Season 7. Which is the second season of the Advanced series, so Advanced Challenge. And this is the episode where Ash battles Norman for the Petalburg City Gym. Of course, Norman being May and Max's dad. So they've been in Petalburg City for about a couple of episodes beforehand. I think there's a sort of an episode where Team Rocket dress up as members of their family. That one's quite a funny one, but anyway, they've been around there for a few episodes at least, and Max is just lording over it, basically bragging about how his dad's just the best thing since sliced bread. That Ash might as well probably just forget about winning, just go elsewhere. His dad's unbeatable. So yeah, way to be a complete dick, not only to Ash, your friend who you've been travelling around with, but yeah, you think maybe you know if your dad was unbeatable, that I don't know how many gyms there are in Hoenn. I mean, maybe if Gary can get 10 gym badges in Kanto, then maybe there are more than 8 in Hoenn. I don't know, but assuming there are, you think if your dad's unbeatable, then maybe the Hoenn League would pretty much be a non-event every single year. You ever think about that, you little brat? Anyway, yeah, come the episode itself, Balance of Power, they're having their gym battle, and it basically comes down to the final battle, Ash's Grovile against Norman Slacking, and yeah, they're sort of, it becomes like the Pokemon's like famous for this. They come to like the final sort of blow where they sort of seem to both connect with a hit or something, and they do that classic fake out thing. So here, Grovile sort of stumbles, to which point Max sort of jumps out of his chair with the biggest grin you'll ever see. Seriously, it's wider than a Cheshire cat. But anyway, it turns out it's a bit, as always, it always with these kind of things, it's a fake out. Grovile's still standing, and it's Slacking who goes down. So Ash beats Norman. And yeah, May sort of takes it all in her stride. Kind of has a bit of a you know, reasonably restrained kind of a reaction to it all. But Max seems to be going through some sort of bit of turmoil. But anyway, cut to the end. Cut to outside. They've done all their pleasantries, whatever. And Norman is just about to present the badge to Ash on a job well done, when Max runs up, snatches the badge out of his dad's hand, runs off, locks himself away, and has a hissy fit. Probably one of the biggest hissy fits in Pokemon anime history. Of course, the gang all rush off after him, and he's just sort of, you know, moaning about literally everything. That you know, why does his dad have to lose? He then bites May's head off when she sort of tries to explain things away, saying, why aren't you behaving like the immature brat that I am? To which May sort of replies, well, of course she's not happy that her dad lost, but she didn't want Ash to lose either. At the end of the day, they had a great battle. Ash won, and he deserves the badge. He then goes off again, saying it's not okay for his dad, or indeed any gym leader, to lose. At which point Norman sort of snaps back. At which point Max sort of supposedly finally comes to his senses, emerges from wherever the hell he's been holed up, and gives Ash the badge. At least finally. That's just, you know, somewhat redemption, kind of admitting that Ash deserved to win. At which point Ash, in one of those sort of classic Pokemon things, sort of does one of his poses, saying, "Yeah, I got the badge." Blah, blah, blah. I hope that he did that right in front of Max's face. So yeah, just his reaction to that, again, just his bragging beforehand, his complete dismissal of Ash. And his reaction afterwards when his dad lost. I get the whole hero worshipping thing, and I don't think May has quite such a hero worshipping thing as Max maybe has for his dad, but still, it's just so dismissive of Ash and his achievements and everything, and just yeah, he behaves like an absolute spoiled brat. And that's pretty much all I guess I wanted to say. I don't want to delve too much into May's reaction here. I'll probably touch on that when I come to talk about her. But the biggest thing that I'll contrast this to is Bonnie's reaction when Ash defeats Clement. Of course, Clement being Bonnie's brother. So yeah, the reaction, or the difference in the reaction between those. I'm going to talk about that an awful lot when I come to Bonnie. But yeah, anyway, that's about all I want to say there. It's probably gone on for about 5 or 6 minutes or so. But yeah, apologies. It was such a big omission that I can't believe I forgot about when going through this at the time, that I couldn't pass up this opportunity to again just reiterate why Max just annoys the hell out of me, and why in future videos where I come to do this, I will definitely be sort of putting some bullet points down on some post-it notes to make sure I don't make any such big omissions again. Back to the action. So yeah, I'll finish off this one, and we'll return to finish off this fight, and then we'll return to the chart. So yeah, Max comes in at number 11. Let's finish this battle. We'll bring the chart up. Good, fine. So I'll take a quick pause there to bring up the chart. So yeah, Max comes in at number 11. And yeah, I will continue on and maybe do another. I'll probably not do another 2, because admittedly this next one I don't feel like I've got too much to say. It's the one I'm very, very indifferent to. Yeah, well, without any further ado, number 10 is Tracy. So yeah, if any of you were thinking it was going to be bottom of the pile, No. Oh, we still got this stupid audio video skipping out thing or the game skipping out thing where it just stopped working for some reason. Yeah, Tracy's at number 10, and yeah, he's not bottom of the pile though. The main reason he's bottom of the pile is ultimately I feel like he gets an absolute ton of crap poured on him for the simple reason that he is not Brock. That is, I'm going to say it now, that is categorically the stupidest reason ever to actually hate on the guy or dislike the guy. I mean, he could still be like bottom of people's lists for whatever reason. I'd have no problem with that. Ultimately, he's very near the bottom of my list simply because ultimately he doesn't get much screen time. He's there. I mean, every other traveling companion has at least 3 seasons where they're actually traveling around, and they get a whole bunch of that's only 40. Okay, I'm going to get rid of Scratch. I think put Rage in there. Yeah, every other character has at least 3 seasons, bordering on like 120, 130 episodes, if not more. Obviously, some of them have got way more than that. Where you can actually, where they're around, where their characters being, characters developing, and yeah. But Tracy gets the Orange Islands, and so 1 season in the original, and that's pretty much it. I realise he does appear, in later episodes, just on very occasionally, but I mean, he doesn't get much sort of screen time from that, or indeed really much development from that. So all Tracy gets is 30, 40 episodes, probably nearer 40, of the Orange Islands as a travelling companion, and that's pretty much it. And ultimately, during that time, I really feel like he doesn't get much character development at all. He gets a couple of episodes that are sort of more dedicated toward him. Tracy gets bugged, I think, is one example. Yeah, he doesn't, probably when he gets introduced as well and starts travelling around with them, he has probably a bit more kind of screen time there, but he doesn't really do anything, and unfortunately that's sort of the worst thing I can, ultimately, the worst thing I can say about him. I feel like, as well, Max doesn't really get that much development. I think he becomes less kind of cocky as time goes on, and less like I want to punch him in the face. Tracy just really gets none, but ultimately it's just due to a lack of screen time that he gets. But yeah, so actually, I don't hate him at all. I don't dislike him whatsoever. I am saying I'm completely indifferent to him. I can't really say that I per se like him, but there's no time to like him. But I will say again, I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. I feel like pretty much, I don't know, how X% you can fill in whatever you think X is, but probably quite a lot. X is probably quite large there. Percent of the fan base just absolutely rip this guy to shreds. The only reason being that he is not Brock. Now I get that Brock is a much more popular character. He's an awesome character. I was going to go out and say that now. I'm not going to obviously spoil where Brock is on my list, but yeah, I really like Brock, and Brock over Tracy any day of the week. But it's such a stupid reason to dislike or indeed hate. I'm going to emphasise hate there. I think to hate Tracy. He doesn't do, as far as I can tell, anything really offensive or anything like that. To make you actually hate the guy. I don't think that's a thing at all. So yeah, I don't. It's such a stupid reason. To hate on the guy. I find it quite pathetic, for want of a better phrase. It's just, it's absolutely stupid. As I said, don't get me wrong, I don't think he has much time to develop. I don't think he really gets much screen time. I don't think there's ultimately much to necessarily like about him. I mean, I'm fine with his job, if you will, as a Pokemon watcher, I think it is. So, but I mean, even that really is sort of kind of, I mean, unlike, for instance, like a trainer, for instance, or a breeder, or whatever, like Brock, for instance, becomes, or anything like that. It's just kind of like, well, I'm going to sort of sit around with my sketch pad and draw Pokemon. Okay, I mean, his drawings are pretty good. I can't take that away from the guy. His drawings are all right, but it's not a very necessarily I don't feel like I'm unfairly just kind of like ripping on artists here or anything like that, because that's not the case at all. I mean, I don't know whether part of my personal bias that I just I say I'm no artist whatsoever. I can draw anything to save my life, really. But I don't know, just in terms of, you know, watching someone do that ultimately, it doesn't really make for anything that really interesting. You know, he's not catching an awful lot of Pokemon. Admittedly, he does get some, but you know, he's spending his time just, you know, observing Pokemon. Again, nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but doesn't really give him much of an opportunity to shine, to do anything. And yeah, completely inoffensive to me. The only one thing I can actually think of, and we're sort of bridging here and now into the movies more so than the anime, but I guess we'll still count it, is in obviously the one film or movie he was in, Pokemon 2000, when I think it's Misty is discussing, you know, or when they're running along the side of the water or something, and Misty starts talking about going after Ash, not because she loves him or because she even likes him as a boy or whatever like that, but just because you know, he's a friend and she should go and help him out. And like Tracy kind of like just pops up alongside really randomly and says, "Are you talking about me?" I'm just like, no, shut the hell up. What in the world gave you the impression that they were talking about you? In what universe were they gave you that impression? So that's like about the one time where I've just felt like I've felt like, shut up, Tracy. What the hell are you doing? Go away. But you know, beyond that, no. I'm very indifferent to the guy. I don't hate him, don't dislike him. Although, as I say, admittedly, I don't really. There's not that much ultimately to like, just given his lack of screen time. But yeah, I think he is way overhated. For ultimately the stupidest reason, in that he's not someone else. You know, I don't think he got a fair crack of the whip by any stretch of the imagination. I think, you know, he could have just, you know, yeah, it's he's unnecessarily hated ultimately. As much as I like Brock, and as much as I know the fan base will put Brock up on a pedestal, and I'm not saying that pedestal is undeserved, but Tracy should not be castigated the way he is. That's ludicrous. So yeah, okay. Where are we at? We're almost at. I haven't actually got Ember anymore, but I think I'm probably still okay to fight one more. Of course, it would be a Rattata who might use Quick Attack to knock me out. But okay, maybe not. I think 2 hits from that should do the trick now. 1 hit will do fine. Okay, so I think now Charmander will be up to level 20. Yay. Okay. Well, the one thing is that this has taken, you know, half an hour to do or so. So I don't think I mean, I'll continue a little bit, but I don't really foresee that. Actually, don't even need to go back and heal because I wasn't going to use him. All I wanted to do, in fact, I didn't even do any of that. All right, let's use Charmander again for this because I don't want to take the damage from putting someone else in. So let's just use Charmander here. Secret Power should still do the trick rather nicely. Yeah, okay. What I was hopefully going to try and do was get Squirtle and Bulbasaur up to kind of this level as well, but I think that's going to take obviously a lot more time. Unfortunately, given that it has taken best part of half an hour to get Charmander up to there, so yeah. I guess I might sort of. The only problem as well here with Bulbasaur is a lot of kind of like flying types that are kind of coming up. So yeah, of course, I knew it. I knew I was going to get like. Oh, I didn't put. Seriously, I didn't just. Oh wow, lovely. Wow, thank you. Yay, lovely. Yeah, of course I was going to put Bulbasaur in there now, and he comes up against going to get a whole bunch of flying types. Fan-diddly-tastic. Stop freezing. No, I don't want the summary. I want to switch you. Ugh. Yeah, I figure that I was perhaps going to get. I'll get Bulbasaur up to. I'll tell you what. I'll get Bulbasaur up to level 20 as well. This is going to be a very long video. But I'm also perhaps going to try and then try and. how good your moves are, really. But Fine Whip, I guess, is probably going to be the best one. But this is pause. Wow! I'm not even faster than you either. Tackle seems to be doing the most damage, I think. If this doesn't take you out, then I can't even... Wow, okay. Well, I suppose you're going to gain quite a bit of experience there. You're going to go up a level, so yeah. But wow, that's that could be some slow going for Bulbasaur. Wow. Yeesh. I figure what I'll do then is I'll go through the next one on my list as well. So let's just go heal up first of all. Okay, and we'll head back to here, and yeah, okay. So yeah, let's do the next one on the list. Yeah, number 10 was Tracy. So yeah, number 9, and I say this is a character that I still actually like. Admittedly, they're still quite low on this. Obviously, they're just one above the one that I'm indifferent to. But yeah, I don't hate this character by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, probably of the ones that I like, obviously the one that I like the least. So number 9 is Iris. It's probably a predictable kind of one from the main female traveling companions. Obviously, a lot of people are going to do a lot of do the rating of. Oh, thank you. You know what? Probably gonna have to do. I'm probably gonna have to bring out like Squirtle when I get like flying type Pokemon. But oh well. Yeah. Yeah, most people probably tend to, or a lot of the discussions and ratings and like rankings and whatever for Pokemon tend to be like the female traveling companions. So Misty, May, Dawn, Iris, Serena. So and Iris probably tends to come, I would bottom. I would say in a large majority of the time, which ultimately is how I feel as well. It's not that I don't like her, but she suffers, I think, a lot from the lack of character development. Again, that I sort of mentioned with other one. If I keep getting flying Pokemon here, I might have to switch to another patch of grass or something. Maybe this is not a good patch of grass for Bulbasaur to be in. If I keep getting flying types, I don't know. I'm not sure what patch of grass I could go to that I'm not going to get flying types out of, but oh well. Yeah, Iris, I feel like she just, again, suffers from a sort of a real lack of character development, and ultimately that her main reason for ultimately for being there, or what she's meant to be doing on her journey, is becoming a so-called Dragon Master. But she doesn't really make a lot of progress in that regard whatsoever. I mean, she's not helped by a Pokemon team. I mean, she obviously has Axew. She was pretty much just kind of given as these flying types. She was sort of given, off the bat as the first one to raise. And I must say, I'll come back to it. I will come back to this kind of later, but I might as well say just now, I do really like the relationship between Iris and her Axew. I think it's a really, really nice kind of relationship between the two, that I do really like. So that's something there. Yeah, her sort of other than Axew, her other Pokemon, Excadrill, Emolga, which is really not going to help her too much in terms of her becoming a Dragon Master, and admittedly Dragonite, but. I don't know. I almost kind of feel like, well, I know she's a dragon, meant to be like a dragon trainer, I suppose, or on the road to becoming a Dragon Master. But a Dragonite, wow! I feel like she earns, or she earns, for want of a better phrase, Dragonite. Like it's way too cheaply. You're talking about like a Dragonite, and I mean, admittedly in Gen 5, I want to say. I think I want to say this will be the Black and White series, Special Wishes series, whatever. in Unova, but in Gen 1, Dragonite was like, well, at least that was the kind of the perception that he was like, a really, really strong Pokemon. Yeah, for Iris to like get Dragonite, or to get a Dragonite, it didn't feel very well. Wow. Okay. Didn't feel like very well earned. I felt like she just got it almost out of circumstance, and I know that sort of sounds a bit kind of mean or petty potentially, but I don't know. As powerful a Pokemon as Dragonite, that she just sort of ended up kind of falling in Iris's lap. And Dragonite is just, obviously is doesn't pay attention to her really whatsoever. I knew I was going to get another encounter. Probably get another one on my way out as well. She's doesn't pay attention to her at all. Oh well, not at all, but obviously later on, a bit like Ash and Charizard. Again, I mean, I suppose that storyline as well felt a bit very similar to the Ash Charizard situation, just nowhere near as good. Iris getting a Dragonite felt very kind of almost cheap and not very well earned. Not that I necessarily hold that against Iris per se, but yeah. But anyway, I think the thing that bothers me most about Iris is her sort of, well, the constant little kind of belittling of Ash, because like, you're such a little kid, such a kid. I mean, is she any older than Ash? Is she any less childish than Ash? Spending time like hanging from trees, her kind of antics. I really don't feel like she's in no position whatsoever. Let's put it this way, to be calling Ash a kid. Admittedly, Ash does regress in the Best Wishes Black and White series, certainly from Diamond and Pearl one in Sinnoh, where he just sort of seems to go almost back to being a complete beginner or a noob, stuff like that. Some of the stuff he does, but that was just dumb. I don't know what I was thinking there. Iris has no real right, as far as I can see, to be calling to be constantly berating Ash and calling him a kid. There's no cause for that whatsoever, and it gets old very, very quickly. It got old after maybe 10 episodes, if not before that. But it's constant. It's all the way through. It's all the way through the blimmin' lot. Even when he's got 8 badges, or he's in the league and what like that, or whether it's a constant, just. Yeah, I don't know, just belittling of Ash and calling him a kid for, no real reason, and again with no real right to do it based on her antics and her behaviour. So that was not what I wanted to do. Way too many button presses there. Oh well. I do like the sort of the camaraderie, I guess, between herself, Ash, and Silent. It's not like they don't get along. I think for the most part they do. I think when she wants to, she can be a very supportive character. She was very nice to Ash when I think he was going for his final gym badge against Roxy. She was sort of banging on a drum, and she's got all this garb on and stuff like that. She's not the only one to sort of dress up for Ash and all that kind of thing, but she was very supportive of her Ash there. I don't know if that was I doubt that was ultimately why Ash won the fight or whatnot. But Iris can be very supportive of Ash when she wants to. I feel like she's quite appreciative of Silent, although even admittedly. She can be quite sort of derogatory towards Silent, particularly when he's sort of doing his evaluation time and all that kind of thing, which I'm not saying necessarily is not warranted, but she can be quite sort of derogatory toward Silent, who, let's be honest, is taking pretty good care of both Ash and Iris. So again, I feel like I feel like there's nowhere near as much appreciation there as there should be from Iris's point of view. I have to say, also don't like her sort of ultimate. It's more so perhaps, I guess, a Dawn thing, but I feel like, that sort of she kind of teams up very much with Dawn when she comes back to the Black and White series for her kind of, returning stint. And sort of, Dawn acts very un-Dawn-like. And sort of, almost, I don't want to say gangs up on Ash and things like that, but she sort of, all kind of a little bit following her lead. Dawn's sort of personality gets a little bit altered there, which I don't think is a sort of a great sort of reflection necessarily on Dawn, but also on Iris. I don't feel like she would have done that at all if it weren't indeed for Iris. So I'm holding Iris responsible for that. But the things about her character I do kind of like. I do like her kind of like sort of, I guess, insecurity, for want of a better phrase, in terms of when the backstory that she does get, where she's like at school and she kind of like the environment is just completely not for her, and she ends up kind of running away or going back home or climbing the clock tower or whatever, or it'll be just a or whatever it is she actually climbs just to kind of get away from it all. I feel like that's a kind of really kind of nice backstory, and again, that episode actually is one of the probably favourites from the Black and White series. Now, I think we get to find out a lot more about Iris's backstory. I think that episode's really well done, where she sort of goes back to returns to fight Drayden, who's been trying, ultimately sort of almost grooming her, and that's probably not the right word, but you'll probably get what I'm trying to say there. To sort of take over from him as the gym leader there, which is like a huge thing. I mean, I'm sort of pleased Iris turned that down, because she was sort of like nowhere near ready for anything like that, and she wanted to sort of go off on a journey and become a better Dragon Master and whatnot. But I feel like actually when Iris is given some backstory, that it's actually done really well. I actually kind of somewhat like. I think probably one of the best things I like about Iris actually is her sort of relationship with her quote unquote rival Georgia. I love the sort of that relationship, that kind of dynamic's really really good as well. But I love sort of coming at it from Iris's side of that. Georgia just sort of comes across as that sort of person who's just enormously petty. But yeah, Iris's sort of like constant put downs to Georgia are really good. I love her interaction with Zorua, where she's sort of using Zorua, or Zorua's sort of impersonating, or as part of its illusion, being Georgia. What she does with that is absolutely hilarious. I'll put it out there. I love kind of what she does there with or her sort of interactions, I guess, with Zorua in terms of Georgia. I think she comes out really really nicely from that. With again, but ultimately again a completely playful side. I mean, let's be honest. She knows what she's doing. She knows she's winding Georgia up to next to no end. What she's doing, she's using a Pokemon to impersonate Georgia, and just sort of giving her all these kind of like false quotes and stuff like that, or misquoting her and all that kind of thing. Is that not kid-like? Is that not something like a little kid would do? Just sort of playing around like that, completely taking the mick out of someone. Doesn't feel like, if you're going to be sort of, preaching to Ash, sort of saying, how much of a little kid you are and you should grow up and all that kind of thing. It doesn't kind of feel like something that, you should be doing. But, oh well. I love that. I love the dynamic she has ultimately with Georgia and what she does in terms of, with her interactions with Zorua in taking. I'm going to have to switch you out, aren't I? Otherwise, I'm probably going to, I'm going to get knocked out. So I'm going to have to switch Bulbasaur, which is a bit annoying. I love her interactions with Georgia and Zorua. In fact, Squirtle might indeed get knocked out as well. I'll put Pidgeotto in. A bit annoying that, but oh well. Overall, I don't dislike Iris by any stretch of the imagination. I think when she has some character development, it is done really well. Actually, I do like her backstory. I was actually going to come back to Axew, wasn't I? I really like the relationship she has with Axew. It's such a kind of both ways as well. It's just a kind of caring relationship, and you know, the fact that Axu just kind of like spends all its time not in a Pokeball but in her giant hair is kind of a really kind of nice touch as well. But I love the way Axu kind of takes care of Iris to some degree as well, and how protective she is actually of Axu as well. But I do feel like you know, it's also her backstory with Excadrill as well is kind of really nice. Although, well, not nice, I suppose, for Excadrill, but it sort of just refuses to kind of, you know, respect her or anything like that. But her sort of, again, her story where Excadrill comes to be back on her side as well, and to some degree Mulga as well. Although I feel like she sort of, I know Mulga is sort of one of the more kind of playful ones. It does sort of take liberties, and it does kind of misbehave, but I don't feel like necessarily, you know, she gives treats Mulga with perhaps the same kind of, you know, level of, you know, respect or indeed affection that she does with other ones as well. And I suppose I do like, also I do like the fact, like her sort of, you know, training, you know, ultimately getting to the point where Dragonite actually does start listening to her, obeying her, and they sort of become, you know, partners and such like that. But I'm probably not going to bother with this, I don't think. Iron Whip, Leech Seed, no, I'm not going to bother with Poison Powder, I don't think. It's not very accurate. If it were more accurate, I think I'd do it, but yeah, I'm not going to bother with it. No. No. Yes, stop learning Poison Powder. Oh, now you're trying to learn another one. I'm guessing it's the same deal, so I'm probably not going to learn this one either. Yeah, this probably isn't giving Bulb necessarily. I might be doing like the really wrong thing here and not giving Bulbasaur a lot of the moves that it perhaps really should end up learning, but nah. Yeah. Anyway, to finish up on Iris, I think I'll probably finish this video on that note as well. So I've got like half. Have I got like half of the way there? Yeah, I've done Charmander and I've got half of Bulbasaur, haven't I? So. Yeah, I think we'll probably kind of call it there. But yeah, just to wrap up Iris, I think when a character when she's done well, I think you know she is a really good character. But I think ultimately she doesn't get much development. She doesn't really kind of go much on her way of becoming a Dragon Master. She rarely kind of battles or does anything like that. Anyway, she's just sort of mainly just she doesn't catch lots of Pokemon, although admittedly the ones she does do are not Dragon types anyway. But yeah, I feel like she's a bit underdeveloped as a character, and her constant kind of picking on Ash, sort of doing and saying, "Oh, such a little kid," all that kind of thing, gets very annoying very quickly, and ultimately. Yeah, while I don't dislike her, I think they're, you know, I would put every other character certainly above Iris, just in terms of either the character development they get, or the fact that I think they're far less annoying. So, yeah, if you have watched this video, then my many thanks. It's been incredibly grind heavy. You've just been hearing me ramble on for 50 minutes talking about like some of my or the three least favourite, I guess I would say, characters from the anime. But yeah, made some decent progress on levelling up. I don't actually know what I'm going to do next time. I figure I might actually, I think I'll continue on with the story. I'm not going to do another one of these episodes straight away afterwards, so I think Bulbasaur and Squirtle, at least at the moment, are going to stay relatively weak. But what I will do is I will. You know, a bit later down the line, because I've still got 8 characters I want to talk about, and I'd say probably 7 of those I'm going to be talking about. You know, probably much more than I have done even these 3. Because admittedly these are my least favourite. I don't have as many good things to say or as much detail to go into on them. So yeah, I feel like I'm actually going to spend more time talking about them. So you know, characters that get more development and stuff like that. But yeah, I will save that for another time. I'm not gonna do another episode straight away afterwards, doing all that. So yeah, we will progress a bit more with the storyline of the game next time. So as I say, yeah, if you have listened to all this and you haven't been immensely bored, or if you've listened to all of it and you haven't been immensely bored, then yeah, my sincere thanks. But yeah, hopefully it's been somewhat entertaining or somewhat just informative or interesting at least, explaining just a few of the reasons why I say I had Max. That's my least favourite travelling companion, number 11. Tracy was my sort of the indifferent one, sort of number 10, and then Iris at number 9. So yeah, I will pick up the countdown for favourite travelling companions again at some later point. The next time we will continue with the storyline of the game. So I hope to see you for that. But until then, cheerio.